Live streaming is on.
Hi everyone, good morning, good morning. Okay, welcome to the Segi V-Day webinar. So my name is Andy, I'm from Segi University, Kota Damansara, and I'm the host for today. So today we are going to talk about engineer your future from concept to creation. So without further ado, let us welcome our speaker today, Dr. Lim. Hi, morning Dr. Lim.
Hi, good morning, Andy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so like before we start, right, maybe can you let the audience know a little bit background or experience of yours?
Sure, no problem. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sagi University's Virtual Open Day. So my name is Dr. Lim, and I'm the senior lecturer here at Sagi University at Kota Damansara. So a quick background about myself. I have joined Sagi in 2019, and prior to that, I have actually been working in the industry for the past 3 years. So I've graduated with a Bachelor's of Engineering in Chemical Engineering, together with a PhD in Engineering by Research as well for my background. Okay, so so that is what I am doing or what I have done, and for today I'm going to let you all know or give you all a glimpse into what should go into or what you should be doing in your journey to become an engineer or a young graduate engineer. All right. So without further ado, let me share my screen so we can begin our webinar for today. All right. So Andy, can I just double check if you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. And now if it's live screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Dan. So as I mentioned, welcome everyone to those who have just joined our live webinar here. Okay. Now today I will be presenting into how can you engineer your future from concept to creation. For those who have missed out my introduction, my name is Dr. Lim, and I'm currently the senior lecturer here at the Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment, and also Information Technology at Sagi University, Kota Damansara. Welcome. Now, the very first question when we join this webinar is, what is engineering? So for those who have just completed their SPM and you must be wondering, right, what is the career path that I should be choosing? Engineering could be one of the terminologies that are floating within the current system. Oh, engineering, I hear engineering and things like that. Now, the point is, what is engineering and what is an engineering career? In a nutshell, engineering is basically a blend of science together with mathematics. Now, you must be thinking, oh my goodness, I need to have a science background and I also need to have maths. So, what am I supposed to be doing? Calculations? Not really. In a bigger picture, an engineer actually helps to solve problems, improve systems, and also make a difference. So that is the main priority or the main point of an engineer in the society. So let's take a look right here at what everybody thinks an engineer does, right? So for an engineer's perspective, okay, you can see right here, this is what the society thinks an engineers actually do. So, what my mom thinks I do, what society thinks I do, what I tell people I do, what non-engineers think I do, and what I really do. Okay, so this is just something that of the common misconceptions that people have with regards to what an engineer does. All right, so now engineers are basically inventors, designers, analyzers, and builders of our modern age. As we all know, the most common or the most famous engineer that is made famous by the movie screen is our very own Iron Man. Iron Man is an epitome of what an engineer is. He is the one that designed the Iron Man suit that can do wondrous things. You may think him as a creator, an inventor, or a scientist. But instead, if we actually take that and if we actually scale that up, then that is an engineer. Okay, engineers, we can do anything, and our whole point here in the society is to help to solve problems and to improve systems so that we our community are able to develop and move on in a very quick and fast pace according to the technology advances currently. Now, engineering, there are a lot of categories under engineering, from aerospace to biomedical, electrical electronics, healthcare, petroleum. The variety of them is huge. Regardless of what type of engineering that we are looking into, the applications of each of these engineering has their own industries altogether. Say, for example, the simplest one, oil and gas. Oil and gas requires the use of a petroleum engineer in order to help to facilitate and improve the efficiency of the oil digging in order to obtain the oil. How about the construction of our buildings, our condominiums, our houses, our hospitals, shopping malls? All of this requires the use of a civil engineer or somebody who has a background in structural sciences. Our aircraft, our cars, all of this requires the use of mechanical engineers. All our medicine and also the development of the chemicals that we use, for example, in our day-to-day life. For example, the development of plastics, paint, dye. All of this requires the use of chemical engineer. Whatever that we see and do currently in our day-to-day life, chances are that they had been developed by an engineer and also further optimized from there. Now, the big question is, what makes a great engineer? So you will hear people saying that, oh, you know what, on my machine, it works. But that itself, by just doing a visual observation as like that is not a great engineer. The key to becoming a fantastic engineer is that you need to have an acute critical analysis, problem solving, logical thinking, and of course, you do need some background in mathematics. But besides the technical skills that we have, that we also need to ensure that we have a good soft skills as well. Communication, continuous learning, curious mind, and also an attention to detail. The combination of these two, technical and soft skills, is what makes a great engineer. Having only the technical skills or the technical know-how does not necessarily mean that you are a great engineer. Yes, you may be sound in your technology or in the fundamental knowledge, but if you are not able to communicate these data, then unfortunately, this is not what a great engineer is all about. Now, at Segi University, our role here is not only to provide you with those fundamental skills, but also help to develop your soft skills to become a great engineer. Okay, now before we go into that, we need to have a look into what is the career and potential opportunities in engineering. That must be the burning question on everybody's mind, isn't it? So when we select a career, or not a career, when we select a program that we join, we always ask ourselves, is it going to benefit my future? How can it benefit my future? That is the biggest question, and of course, at where you are at your crossroads and junction at the current moment, because your decision right now as a SPM leaver will impact or influence your future. Big decision, isn't it? And this is something that you should not take lightly now. So of course, when you select your program, you need to know what is it and how it can impact your career opportunities and also choices. Let's take a look over here. What are the typical career advancements that we will be looking into for if you graduate as a graduate engineer? To be very frank with you, there are a variety of job titles that will lead for you as an engineer. So these are some of the terminology: design engineer, maintenance engineer, production engineer. All of these represents the different departments that an engineer can actually work within a single factory. Let me give you an example. A design engineer's perspective or job scope is actually to, of course, design and optimize a certain process. It does not only need to be a process, it could also be a system, or it could also be a single machinery. Environmental engineer. The function of the environmental engineer is to take care of the sustainability of our environment. Production engineer is to help to ensure that the production or the day-to-day activities inside an industry is running at the maximum capacity and at the highest efficiency possible. So these right here, as what I've discussed, are some of the examples of an engineer. Now, what is the career progression? You can go up to become manager. You can go up to become senior manager, CEO. The sky's the limit. So this is the career ladder which you'll be expecting after you have graduated from an engineering degree. So first off, when you start off, you will be a graduate engineer, which is typically an executive position. Then after several years of working as a graduate engineer, typically 3 to 5 years, you will then be promoted or moved up to the next level, which is senior engineer or a senior executive. Of course, take note that this is dependent on the field that you actually join. After the senior engineer, you will move on to become managerial role, senior manager, and also director. But does it mean that director is where you stop after you have taken up the engineering program? Not necessary. Like I mentioned, the sky is the limit. You can move up to become the CTO, Chief Technology Officer, COO, Chief Operation Officer, or even to become a CEO. Or you may actually move out to start your own engineering company business. Like I mentioned, there's so many things that you can look into, especially when you take an engineering course. But the first important thing that you have to take note when you climb the career ladder is you have to be the best version of yourself. You have to ensure that you have the technical know-how, as I mentioned just now. And number two, you also have the soft skills in order to make you become a great engineer. This package will enable you to climb the career ladder in the fastest way to achieve your dreams and also your goals. Now, what's the average annual income, you may be asking, right, for an engineer? So this is a 2018 data, all right, of an average annual income for engineers right here in Kuala Lumpur. Now, in Kuala Lumpur, a fresh graduate would earn you probably around 2,600 ringgit to 3,500 ringgit. Again, depending on what type of engineer you join in. Is it a design? Is it a production? Is it a process? Depends on what kind of type it is, number one. And number two, also depends on what field you actually join. Different fields of engineering, of course, have different requirements, and therefore they will have a different starting pay altogether. Then following that, your next promotion, your next jump, you can go up to 5,000 to 7, which is a senior engineer level or senior executive. So your pay after around 4 to 7 years, plus minus, you will get around this range of pay. Again, depending on the number of years and experience in the field that you are in. So senior engineer could be also a principal engineer as well, which is the highest level of engineer that you can actually obtain. Now, after the senior engineer, moving on to manager, which you will start to earn 5-figure salary. Very exciting, isn't it? So this 5-figure salary is when you reach a manager level. So typically this will be where you would be overlooking a team of engineers. All right. So rather than you are doing mainly onto the design, you will be looking more into the team management. So that's why your soft skills come very significantly into play over here. Then after that, you will go into senior management, okay, which is typically 15 years and above, and your range is around 16,000 to 30,000. Now, these senior managerial level are really highly experienced managers who are masters in their field. So of course, you can always have further job advancement after the senior management. You can be a regional manager, you can be a director, CEO, as what I've mentioned. And of course, the pay will go up accordingly depending on your experience and depending on your field as well. So if all of this that I've described to you excites you, most likely engineering could be the right degree or the right type of program for you. If yes, do carry on and listen how can Segi University can pave a pathway for you to obtain your engineering degree. So just now we have looked into the concept of engineering. How can engineering help to benefit my future? How can I make that concept to reality? How can I create my future? Hence the term from concept to creation. How can I create and path that future is through the Segi University's engineering's pathway. So this right here is our structure of our FOBE IT, which is the Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment and Information Technology, headed by our Dean, Dr. Chia Chi Ming. So as I mentioned, our FOBE IT department is divided into three main sections, which are engineering, built environment, and also information technology. Under the engineering branch, we can divide it further into four different branches, which are chemical, civil, electrical, electronics engineering, and also mechanical engineering. So these are the four engineering programs which are presented or are available at our university here. So as an SPM leaver, how do I move towards that direction? How do I get a bachelor's in engineering in either of these four courses here? So upon graduation from SPM, so you will have to take a look at your results and see what pathway for you to join our degree. There are two pathways that you can do. Number one, with your SPM results, you will need to take a foundation in science or, preferably at Segi University, and then only you can join our degree in engineering, which in other words, you would need to have a pre-university kind of qualification, in this case, a foundation of science in order to join our degree. In order to join our foundation of science, you need to pass your SPM with a minimum or equivalent of 5 credits, including one mathematics and 2 science subjects. So that's one pathway if you wish to join the foundation of science route. But if not, you can also take any other equivalent pre-university qualification. So for example, STPM, A-levels, UEC, pre-U, all any types of equivalent qualification, you can use that in order to join our Bachelor's of Engineering at our department over here. So regardless of any of these pathways, the whole point is that you will need to have a pre-university qualification first before you are able to join our engineering courses. So the requirements to join our engineering courses differ depending on the type of engineering that you are interested in. Now, here comes another major cross point here. I'm interested in engineering, but which engineering course is suitable for me? So let's take a look at very briefly on the 4 different engineering that is available for us or available for the students to join at Segi University. So for chemical engineering, so what do? Is that typically we work in a chemical-based industry to convert raw material into products. A chemical engineer typically deals with the design and the operation of a chemical plant equipment, and the relevant industries are usually F&B, food and beverages, pharmaceutical, nanotechnology, wastewater, petroleum, cosmetics, so on and so forth. So anything that deals with a chemical compound typically requires the use of a chemical engineer. For civil engineering instead, so as we all know, civil is usually involved in all stages of development of built infrastructure, whereby the expertise is in the planning, design, construction, and also the maintenance of project. So the relevant industries typically are construction, geotechnical, environmental, earthquake, so on and so forth. Anything to do with structures. For electronics and electrical engineering, what we do typically is to design and develop new electrical systems. So all our lighting infrastructure, TNB, our Tenaga Nasional Berhad, all of this requires the use of electrical and electronics engineering. Not only that, how about our laptop, our handphones, our tablets? All of this also requires the use of our electronic and electrical engineering as well. Again, the whole point of this is to assist to develop and design these new systems in the relevant industries such as communication, computer signal processing, control systems, microprocessors, powers, telecoms, so on and so forth. Last but not least, we will look into mechanical engineering. So mechanical engineering, what do we do is to apply engineering physics, maths, and also material sciences to design and manufacture mechanical systems. So mechanical systems is basically like our automotive, our aerospace, anything to do with machinery is where a mechanical engineer actually steps into play. But bear in mind that we don't only look into machinery, we also look into the background knowledge, for example, heat transfer, thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, HVAC, which is representing our air conditioning systems, pumps, compressors, so on and so forth. So, having a look into all of the 4 different types of the engineering programs that we have, why an engineering degree with Segi University? So, an engineering degree at Segi University is fully accredited by the Board of Engineers BEM, and it is important that the selection of your engineering degree has to be recognized by BEM, otherwise you will not be able to practice your engineering degree right here in Malaysia. Not only that, the programs are also accredited by our MOHI, Ministry of Higher Education, MQA, Quality Assurance, and are related to the professional bodies such as BEM, EAC, BQSM, LAM, and so on and so forth. All subjects will be taught by lecturers and industry experts with a minimum of master's and PhD academic qualifications. Some of our colleagues right here at the Phobe IT department also have the professional engineer certification, which gives you an insight of what the industry actually requires. So not only that, we also focus a lot on industrial partnership and collaboration, which gives our students the edge into how the industry actually plays around with the engineering discipline and also requirement for a graduate engineer. Some of our partnerships includes Daikin, Bayer, In the Water Consortium, 3D Gens, and also so on and so forth. These are our active collaborations to date. Not only that, the most exciting thing about the engineering degree here at Segi University is that we actually provide an articulation path with world-renowned university partners, primarily in the UK, but we also have partner universities in the United States of America as well. For example, University of Central Lancashire, University of Sheffield, Sunderland, Minnesota State University, and so on and so forth. But of course, the most exciting thing about our engineering program at Segi University, and this is our main launch, is our double degree award, which is a 4 years of study. These 4 years of study could provide you with 2 outputs at the end. Number 1, which is a master's in engineering in collaboration with our University of Central Lancashire, also known as UCLan for short. Not only do you get a master's in engineering after these 4 years of degree, you will also get a recognized bachelor's in engineering with honors degree by Segi University. So this is the beauty of our double degree award after the 4 years of study, which includes both our master's and also bachelor's in engineering here. So you may probably have heard of UCLan, University of Central Lancashire. So University of Central Lancashire, just to give you all a brief introduction, is a public university based in Preston in Lancashire of England. So it's one of the top 3.7% universities according to the Center of World University Rankings. And this right here is an example of how our UCLan partner university looks like. So just have a look into what are the facilities that we have right here in our engineering wing. So if you have the opportunity to visit our laboratory systems in our physical open day, you can, of course, feel free to have a look at what facilities that we have here in engineering. But if you do not, if you are overseas, out of state, and did not have the opportunity to have a look, this is a small mini tour for you all. So this is our engineering wing. Right here, this is the facilities that we have in our chemical lab. We have our electrical and also electronics lab here, which is equipped to meet the design and the requirement. Mechanical and physics lab, which you can see over here. Workshops and engineering labs, typically for our civil engineering. All right. So to wrap things up over here, what we have discussed so far is our concept. We have discussed our creation. Now, the biggest question after the end of our webinar here is, an engineering pathway by Segi University, is this truly your future? What would you expect if you actually join our faculty here as one of the students or one of our engineering students? So just some background. These are some of the activities that we have done pre-pandemic. I must put a disclaimer, okay, for our students by our faculty. So we actually provide our students opportunities to go for site visits and also industrial exposure, all presented by our lecturers and also my fellow colleagues. Now we also have our faculty event, which is a High Achiever Award, which is some sort of like a certificate award giving ceremony and prom night organized by students of engineering. So these are some of the activities and student life that we actually do, not inclusive of our cultural night, also our mini quizzes night, all for the benefit of our students. Take a look right here at some of the first experience of Segi before we end our webinar today. All right, so just take note that this is an old video which has been taken pre-pandemic and does not represent our current structural system right here. But regardless, this will be the experience that you will expect when you come to Segi. Let's take a look.
Segi, sorry, okay. Okay. My name is Chikurik Kuleshwar Singh, and I'm from Mauritius.
My name is Sheikh Shamin, and I'm from Rawang, Malaysia.
Hi, my name is Benroy Ya, and I'm from Malaysia, and I'm currently studying mechanical engineering in year 3.
Hi, I'm Ashmi Rajkumar. I'm a proud Malaysian and I'm a proud Segian.
My first experience was enjoyable yet scary and overwhelming.
This is really fun meeting new people, and it became more of like a comfortable experience instead of a challenging one and a frightful one I originally had.
I had friends who recommended the mechanical engineering course to me in Segi because I heard good reviews about it. Well, I aspire to be a successful mechanical engineer in future, and I believe that the facilities and the lecturers in Segi are able to guide me towards that path.
The best people I met in Segi would definitely be my lecturers because I feel that they bring out the best in me.
That's why I chose Segi as a whole.
There are so many people, so many students from different nationalities, different walks of life. In fact, if you just go for the cultural night event at Segi, it's mind-blowing.
When I joined Segi, it was really difficult to go away from my family, but you know, the welcome that you have in Segi and the friends that you make from 80 different countries, it's a lot. I think Segi has the most international students.
After coming to Segi, I've been much more opinionated, much more outspoken. In fact, I couldn't present at all. I couldn't do presentations during my before I came to Segi. But after coming to Segi, I was much more confident of myself.
Being in Segi, I have developed my interpersonal skills, becoming a leader, having leadership skills, team spirit, which is very important.
Maybe someday in the future, I'd like to set up my own company and to help change the lives of people around my community.
Strongly spend more time and effort in deciding on which course you're going to enroll in.
Don't hesitate. You can join Segi. Just be sure which career path you're choosing.
Come to Segi because I'm telling you, it's an experience and it's going to be fun.
My name is Dr. Jeffrey Chiang. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering. Our program is has the quality, able to be accepted for students. Once they graduate from here, they'll be able to register as a graduate engineer in the Board of Engineers. Our lecturers are also focused and ensure that they get the best in training and education.
Welcome
To SEGI,
The best in you.
to Made Possible.
All right. So that's mainly it about what we have to present for our webinar today. So I hope with this that you will have a taste of what a Segi University's engineering student have in life here. Now remember, your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. So think about it, about if engineering is truly suitable for you. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to come and discuss with our counselors whether our engineering program is truly your pathway and your career. With that, that's it for my webinar. Thank you very much. And of course, have a very good weekend. See you. Back to you, Andy.
Okay, thank you so much, Salim. That was a very inspiring session. Okay, so all right, so as you already come to the end, so I have three things to let all the audience know, which is first of all, the free foundation with 100% of scholarship. Secondly, the pandemic assistance scholarship scheme. And lastly, our next intake will be May and June. So for the May intake, you can use your forecast result or your trial result to apply. That's all from me today. Thank you, Dr. Lim. Have a good